Fridays are awesome. Welcome to CNN Student News, 10 minutes of commercial-free current events. I'm Carl Azus. I'm at the CNN Center in Atlanta. The U.S. President is at a meeting across the Atlantic in Wales. It's part of the United Kingdom. It's where a summit of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is taking place. Most of NATO's 28 member countries are European. The U.S. and Canada are also part of it. And the coalition has a lot to talk about. In fact, British Prime Minister David Cameron says this is a crucial time in NATO's history. One event these leaders will be watching, a peace plan for the war-torn nation of Ukraine. It's expected to take effect today between Ukrainian troops and the pro-Russian forces that are fighting them. There are doubts about whether it will hold. Another topic involves a barbaric terrorist group we've been reporting on since we came back.
The battle against ISIS is, of course, a major topic on NATO's agenda, and leaders within the organization will have to carve out time to focus on that threat, diverting some attention away from Ukraine's confrontation with Russia. ISIS is now a critical concern to Britain, which is hosting the NATO gathering.
We now need to strengthen our powers to fill specific gaps in our armory.
The British are taking the lead in imposing new travel restrictions. Now other NATO states, including the U.S., are looking at their own threats of Western jihadis traveling to and from ISIS battlefields. And President Obama will be seeking more support from top allies inside and outside of NATO to deal with the ISIS threat, something he says is critical to forming his overall ISIS strategy. But the major subject on NATO's agenda will be Ukraine. NATO recently released what it dubbed photographic evidence of Russian military activity inside eastern Ukraine. Russia has denied that, but NATO Secretary General isn't buying it. He's proposing the creation of a rapid reaction security force that can quickly respond to Russian aggression. Watch for President Obama and other leaders at the summit to offer a robust defense of NATO's Article 5 that states the alliance must come to the defense of any NATO country that is under attack. That will come as some comfort to smaller NATO countries like the Baltic states that are growing increasingly worried about Russia's intentions. And finally, there's Afghanistan, where NATO has played a key role since the beginning of that war. Just as the United States is anxiously watching the outcome of Afghanistan's recent election, NATO member states are wondering what their mission will be there after the year ends. Both of the candidates in the contested vote in Afghanistan have said they'll sign an agreement allowing U.S. troops to remain there past 2014, but at this point, nothing is certain.
Is this legit? In the US, the federal minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. This is legit. States and communities may require a higher minimum wage, but this is the absolute minimum wage set by the federal government.
Fast food workers have become a loud voice in the debate over a federal minimum wage increase. Over the last 18 months, you've probably seen images on the web, in newspapers, and on TV of strikes in cities across the country. Workers are asking for $15 an hour. They even took their fight to McDonald's corporate doorstep at the company's annual meeting. But are these protests making a difference? So far, fast food companies aren't doling out major pay hikes. In 2013, the average pay for a food prep and service worker in restaurants was $8.74 per hour, or about $18,000 a year. The president has made their plight a priority.
And that's why it's well past the time to raise a minimum wage that in real terms right now is below where it was when Harry Truman was in office.
You might have seen some of the protests yesterday. Fast food workers walking out of Burger King, KFC, McDonald's, and Wendy's demanding higher wages. The poverty line in the U.S. is $23,000 per year for a family of four. The president and supporters of a federal minimum wage increase say if you raise that wage, you'll bring more Americans out of poverty. But opponents of these increases say they'd force businesses, especially small ones, to take a significant hit in their profits, that they'd have to lay off workers to make ends meet. They could raise their prices, but critics say if they do that too much, they'll have fewer customers and less need for workers, so fewer jobs either way. That's why it's so hard to get lawmakers to agree on how to address this issue of wages. CNNStudentNews.com. You know you can watch The Daily Show here, make your roll call request here, but check it. you can watch every show we do here. If you click on our archive, you can find all the shows we've produced this school year and many from last school year. All of them are cost-free, all of them are commercial-free. It's all at CNNStudentNews.com. With more than 14 million people, Guatemala is Central America's most populated country. In the 20th century, it was ripped apart by civil war for 36 years. The effects are still there. More than half the population lives in poverty. Crime in some areas is rampant. A CNN hero is working to change that.
My country's violent history has created a very violent present. Gangs are everywhere. Kids are exposed to drugs, to violence, and to the lack of opportunities for them to improve their lives. I was a teacher in the same community that I grew up. My students were dealing with the same problems that I was dealing 20 years ago. I wanted to change that. The best thing for me to do was open my house doors and bring them here. 8 years later, I'm still running the program in my family house. Sueños, ideas en acción. We provide classes so they can find their own passions. We give them a decent plate of food. Children are powerful, just they don't know that yet. So I created a safe place for them to realize that they actually can change bad aspects in their lives and their community.
Mi vida corría peligro, la de mi familia, porque estaba involucrado en actos delictivos. Yo transformé ahí en Los Patojos, ¿verdad? Ahora soy un líder, doy clases con los niños.
In a violent country, the only weapon we can have is love. I still believe that we can change this country. I see potential in kids' dreams and ideas. They are the ones in charge of writing the new history in Guatemala.
From yesterday's transcript page at CNNStudentNews.com, here are 3 of the thousands of roll call requests we received. From Bentley School in New Lenox, Illinois, we hear the roar of the Lions today. From Stevenson Middle School in Westland, Michigan, the Saints are marching in. And out west, from Meeteetse High School in Meeteetse, Wyoming, they're taking the bull by the horns, the Longhorns. Not sure if any of them had a first day back like this, though. At Nicolet High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, school officials rolled out the red carpet for returning students. By rolling out the red carpet for returning students. It's a tradition at the school. The formal welcome back includes the cheers of the faculty, the hope that students would feel like stars as they started a new year of their education. Some students might razzie the idea, but a red carpet welcome can set the tone for an awarding year. And in an academy of academics, if it increases enthusiasm by just 1 Grammy, it's something other schools might want to emulate. Acting on behalf of CNN Student News, I'm Carl Azus.